All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. So we're back from our trip down to Arkansas, and for that trip I took everything out of the back. There was no reason to carry around a bunch of extra weight, and since we're back and I've got it all cleaned out, it's finally time to do a little bit more work to this thing. And today we are going to be installing curtains. So curtains on the old rig, we're going to do it the exact same way as we did on the old truck, but I did that way before I started filming everything for YouTube. So I didn't have a video on it, but how I did the curtains was probably one of the most asked questions on the channel. So it's only appropriate that we film this entire thing. What do I have here? I've got some stuff I picked up from the hardware store. So number one, we have these little clamps. These are like cable management clamps. I'll take them out so you can see them a little bit better. All right, that took entirely too long, but here we go. We've got them out. So this is what they are. Nothing crazy. You can get these plastic or metal. Metal ones will work better. When I first did it on the old truck, I used plastic, and I ended up breaking a bunch of them. So I replaced all those with these metal ones, but that's what we've got right there. We'll see if we need to bend them at all, but we'll use these to attach to the window frame, and then I've got a bunch of curtain rods here. These are cheap curtain rods. You can see what we've got there, maybe. So this is a 48 to 84 inch extendable 7/16 rod. And these will work perfectly up here. And then we've got ourselves some blackout curtains. I have two packages of these. Two packages should be able to do all of the windows, because there's two panels on each window, so we need 8 panels total, and these are tall enough that I should be able to cut some out. These are going to make it a whole lot simpler because it does already have the track on the one side of it to run a curtain rod through. So like on this front window here, the curtains will only be attached on the top. They can hang just fine. It's actually, I think it's slanted forward a little bit. So all we've got to do is basically hem up the bottom on these. I think the width is probably pretty close to perfect. We'll see. I'll have to do some measuring. But on the side windows here, we're going to put a curtain rod top and bottom because these windows are at an angle. So if I just had one on top, that curtain would hang, and it would hang over this rail. Depending on how you want to do it, you could run it that way if you want, but I prefer to have them as close to the window as possible. So we'll have to do 2 curtains rods on each side. The rear window at the hatch will just have 1 rod on top, and it will hang. Now, the only issue there is, it's kind of windy out there, hopefully it's not bad. The only issue is that the back window is on quite a slant, so that will hang down straight down into the cabin here. But we'll put a little bungee that we can move across the bottom or something to hold the curtains back as we feel necessary or whatever here. But to start this out, I'll move you guys a little, but to start this out, I'll move you guys a little closer here. And what we're going to start with is figuring out where we want to put these on here. We don't have a spot right in the center to mount to, so it's only going to be supported on the ends. And this window track has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 little screws that go in right here. We're just going to go on the very last one of each of these. And on my shell, I don't know if it's going to be a difference on yours, but on mine, these are just little 1/4 inch heads right here. And they'll come out really easily. I would say do not use power tools on these because you'll probably strip them out going back in. They're tiny little screws. That's all they are. And that goes through the frame, and I think it attaches to the outside of the frame, or it might just go into the, it's got to attach to the outside of the frame. I don't know. Either way, this has worked on the old truck. It worked forever, and I never had an issue with it. So we're just going to give it a shot on this. This window is a little different. I've showed it before, but this window folds in so you can clean everything, which I actually need to clean the outside of it, but this curtain rod won't affect anything. So we've got our 2 little screws out. go ahead and get one of these curtain rods out. I was hoping I could find actual black ones locally. The only thing I could find were these, they're kind of like bronze-ish, but they'll look fine once they're covered up. They've got these little ends on them and it just expands. That's it. I think you can like maybe tighten them down a little bit, but they'll move freely. So you can see that works up there. We'll take our bungee or our little clip thing here, and we're gonna mount this up just so I get a good measurement of how tall everything needs to be here. And just like on the last one, maybe I could find some that are a little bit smaller. This is a little bit bigger than the curtain rod, but that's fine. You could probably put another piece of rubber in there if you wanted to, but unnecessary. I'll just stick these up. And I don't need to really tighten these screws down super hard this time, so I'm just going to stick them in there and just to make sure they're in. Good enough there. All right, boom, we've got a curtain rod. We can expand it so it kind of goes out to the whole thing. You can do whatever you want. But we'll just go the full width because this window does come down a little bit. That way you get a little bit of an extra on the side. Why don't I just go ahead and maybe pull one of these panels out and see what it looks like. So you can see this panel does have the hole for a curtain rod right on the top of it. They're just black on both sides, so not much to worry about there. And that's the width of the curtain there. And honestly, it hangs over a little ways this way, but instead of like trying to cut and hem this, there's no reason to. We are just gonna run it as wide as it is. It'll be bunched up a little bit, and that is fine. So all I need to do is figure out what I want to do for length, which I'll probably bring it down a little bit longer, like right to here, just so it makes sure that it covers everything. And we're gonna head inside and get to sewing. Got the sewing machine set up, so we'll give that a whirl. And yeah, there's two panels. I almost thought there was only one panel in there. But we've got the sewing machine set up, so we're gonna get inside and we'll take care of that. I think we'll just do 17 inches. It's 18 inches from the bar to the top of this. Maybe we'll just do 18. Probably just 18. That's the only measurement I need since we're just gonna do one whole panel. All right, let's figure out how to run a sewing machine. Haven't done that since grade school. All right, so we've got this set down on our thing, and she uses all this stuff for like quilting. So we folded this over so that we only have to cut this one small area, and we're gonna cut it at 19.5 so that we can fold it over and get our 18. We've got it pinned up on the top here just so it doesn't move around, and should be pretty straight. I just gotta push down on this thing.
Yeah, line the blade up with the side of the...
Right here?
Yeah, and try it. I might need to change the blade.
Perfect. All right, now we just gotta flip this over and sew it and repeat that a few times.
And I would try to sew as close to this edge as possible, so you
the left edge.
Yeah, so you absolutely know you're catching that that second.
All right, we flipped over this hem here double, so we didn't have the fraying edge. Pinned everything, and she's giving me a lesson. I'm gonna start sewing it up here.
So let's see, maybe move it over a bit. You put your foot down. Your foot always has to be down. You use this, the wheel on the side. There's probably a correct term for it. I don't know. To pull your needle down, but so you need those threads to stay. Yeah. You always want to start with your needle in. And this the things on the bottom automatically feed
Pull it,
fabric
yeah.
through, but this is thicker, so it might be a little more difficult. You might have to sort of push it and then pull when you get more fabric to help it along. And this is the back stitch. Oftentimes you start and end with the back stitch, and I would do that on this. It just doubles up your stitches.
Alright, I think I can do it from there.
But yeah, you're just gonna pull these out as you get to it and hold it together hold it with your fingers and kind of guide it.
Alright guys, I'm a little nervous with this, but
If you need to move the foot bead thing, just go ahead.
it's not gonna, if they don't turn out perfect, it ain't gonna matter. Because it's mine, it ain't yours. Where's my foot thing? Is this like speed control too? Does it go super fast if you just push it down?
Yep.
So you gotta be gentle with it. On the end, when I get to the back stitch, do I go off all the way and then back?
No, just to as close to the edge as you can. And you could do it a couple times.
Okay.
Just so that seam is pretty secure.
Which way do I turn the knob to keep it going forward, like I had it, towards me?
Yes.
Yeah. Although now I don't know if it's going to back up. And then just run it out?
Mm-hmm.
Then pick up the thing and snip it?
Yep. Pull it out a ways so you...
Have some extra thread there?
Yeah, and you don't need to re-thread it.
I made a curtain. And as far as the top goes, since we have the little that little clamp that has to go somewhere on here, on the old ones I just figured out where it was going to hang at, and I just cut a little slit with a pair of scissors, and it's been rocking fine since 2015. So not at all worried about that. It ain't perfectly straight.
That's all right.
But it looks good, and we don't have like a dangly seam on the back there. We got a couple of threads just to trim off there, but we rocked this one out. We've got the second one ready. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out, and we'll go hang up these front curtains and see how they turned out. Old man knees. All right, back in here. I'll have to pull that down, you know, to get these hung up there quick, but got our two panels here. And yeah, like I said, this probably marks the center, if you guys can see that. So they're a little long, but I'm perfectly okay with that. Less cutting. And we'll just run this all the way out to the edge there. And I gotta kind of figure out where I want to put this, where I want to cut this at. Probably a little bit off center so that like all my extra isn't hanging towards the middle. I've got a little extra out there, you know what I mean? Make sure this is all the way out. All right, I'm gonna put my little slit at 10.5 inches on each side of these. And I'm only gonna do just a little slit because I don't need to cut the whole thing. If I need to make it a little bit bigger, I can, but like I said, right at 10.5. My wife did not let me bring her nice scissors out here. And then the other side, we'll do the same thing from the other direction, of course. See if that little snippet's enough. Be careful with these. Be careful with these as you like put them in, because you could probably strip these holes out pretty easily. So definitely don't over tighten them. So there you guys go. We've got curtains. A bada bing, bada boom. They cover the whole window up. They aren't too raggedy or jagged. And for what we need, they will work perfectly. Like I said, I've got this curtain rod shoved all the way out so they can't fall off the ends. Covers up the whole window perfectly. I'll probably grab my little ties out of the old truck so I can put a little, just do a little tie right here so you can keep them open. For like when you're driving and whatnot. I feel like I need to like try to tighten this seam down. I thought these kind of thought they would lock, but anyways, there we go. All right, I am gonna get measurements for the rear one. I'll knock the rear out, and then I'll show you guys once we get started on the side window, since that's gonna have the curtain rod on the top and the bottom. But we've got one window done, y'all. Stay tuned. All right, we've got our rear curtains done here. They fit appropriately. And like I said, like there's this huge gap here, as you can see, because they hang straight down. On the old truck, I ran like a little cord, a little bungee or something across here. I can't remember exactly now, but I'll probably do the same thing. So like when I'm sleeping in here, you can push it all the way up against the window. But for just hanging out or whatever, that works absolutely fine. So, all right, I got to put the curtain rods up, top and bottom on the sides, and get a good measurement. Since it's captured on both ends, this one's going to be the most important to make the measurement work correctly. I don't know. I'm gonna open this back up because it's warmish in here. I locked myself in here. Sweet. Oh, my keys. It's one of the slightly annoying things about this truck. It's nice the tailgate has a lock, but it's also annoying because now I'm locked in here. And the window on the back here, where I put these clamps on the sides, it wasn't perfectly even. They weren't spaced in there even, because you just drill them in wherever, I guess. We have one that's almost centered, and then these were like over an inch off from each other. So these little slits that I put in are not the same on either one, but they work perfectly. There we go. All right. We get these side rods up, and we'll quickly get these side curtains figured out, y'all. 16.5 inches. I know it's kind of hard to see with the light in here, y'all, but probably sew them at like 17.5, maybe just go to 18. So there's a little bit of room, because they do, like, when you open them, they kind of bunch up and you need a little bit of extra room on there. On the old truck too, I also bent these straight out. But that was after a while. We'll see how these fit, but I think we'll do 18. All right, we're gonna get going on this first side panel for you eagle eye folks. This is a different sewing machine. The other one, what was it, the bottom spool wouldn't load?
No, when I was redoing the bobbin thread up on top, it wouldn't disengage the needle, and then it gave me an error, and it says it just all needs oiled. That was my mom's. I don't just have two sewing machines.
Yeah, that one's got like a digital screen. It's fancy, so of course that's the one that broke first. So we're gonna use this one, but it's same stuff. This is a much larger panel, and what we kind of did with this, and what we're gonna do with all of them is, this is the original top loop. So it's pretty large, and then the bottom loop on these, this is a full panel, the bottom loop is about 2 inches. So we're gonna sew 2 inches this way, just so with what we're gonna do, since we have these two curtain panels left and we need to sew 4 curtains, that way they all turn out looking the same. A couple of them will have this, and then we'll have to make the larger side on the other side, but that way everything looks identical, and it's a whole lot less cutting than, you know, trying to cut those off and sew 2 sides. So I don't know if I could be a seamstress. I have a lot more respect for the homie Adam and all of his leather work and sewing and stuff now, y'all. So this one goes back without hitting the pedal. Yeah, shout out to all the people that actually make clothes for themselves to wear, and like the ladies that make dresses and stuff like that. I suppose it's kind of one of those things that once you do it for a while, you do kind of get the hang of it, but it's tedious work, that's for sure. I'm going to run out to the truck, guys, and just make sure this kind of fits and hangs appropriately before we cut up the rest of the panels. But there we go. You can see the bottom edge not looking too shabby. Like we have an idea of what we're doing here. A bada bing, a bada boom. Satisfied. All right, we got the rest of them sewn up. We've got 4 more panels, and they all turned out pretty decent. Is that all 4 of them? 2, 3, 4 right there. I didn't screw anything up, so I'm pretty happy with that. And they look nice, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get these knocked out, get them on there, and hopefully they fit. Know what I'm saying? And just, I guess, to show you, this this loop here is bigger than this one, because for 2 of the curtains we used the top of a curtain, which had the big loop. 2 of the curtains we used the bottom, which had the small loop. So on this one I sewed a small loop on the bottom. We're going to use the big loop on the top on each one. But on this one, since the small loop came off the bottom of the curtain, I had to sew the top loop. And they're pretty even enough that you won't be able to tell, shouldn't be able to tell by looking at them once we get them put up. But oh yeah, the sun is shining right in the back there. It was, what is it, daylight savings just happened again. Personally, I wish they would just get rid of all that nonsense, but I am not. I don't claim to be a smart man and know why they do the things that they do. So I'll have to cut slits in these 2 on each end. That's why I want to get these installed in each side, probably where they're kind of going to go, because these clips don't line up perfectly, and this one on this side is a little bit different than that side, so you can't just like cut all your cuts in and expect everything to line up. But we'll just get these shoved up here. I really wish I didn't have to put a slit in it, but it's gonna have to be done just like the old one. There we go. It fits. It'll fit like that, and it's not super tight, which is nice. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, we'll kind of, I don't know, I think I better put that side on too before we try to cut our notches into wherever they need to be on this end or whatever. We'll do that on all sides, actually. Boom. And they're plenty long. Plenty long. Curtains. Some of these screws are put in at damn near 45-degree angle. High quality assembly line stuff right there. All right, y'all, welcome back. It's actually the next day, and I went ahead and pulled some of my other junk out of the truck. This thing has been sitting in the back of there with stuff in it for, I don't know, 6 months now. And then we went ahead and I tossed the bed back in there. Just for now, I grabbed my fire extinguisher out of the back of that one and put it in here. And then I grabbed my little bungees for the curtains. You can see I've got the curtains on the front and back bungee. These are all up and they're good. But before we finish this video out, I do want to go ahead and add a set of locks to the inside, so when I'm in there I can turn the handles down and add a little chain, kind of like what I did on the Silverado. But with this one, I don't want to drill into the side of the truck bed. I just don't want to do it yet. But I figured this lip is really big, and I use this lip on the old truck to hang something right here. But I can put a little hook in here and it'll be fine for what I need to just hold that down with the chain. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out quick, y'all. I had to pick these up. We'll use these to attach to the topper and to hook into the little back of the handles. And I've got a bunch of this chain stuff here, and we'll use that. So I just need to drill a couple of little holes for these. All right, we've got some drill bits. Got our drill. I'm gonna take this. Take one of these, and what I'm going to do over here is spread this apart, and that way I can just hook it in there. We'll just do it right here in the edge, and if we go ahead and close this, we can put this down. We'll also drill a hole right here. We'll do the same thing, and then we'll just run a little chain just with enough so that they can't turn the handle open. And got to be able to dangle. That's it. Not much. That should fit in there. Let me go grab a pliers. So we should be able to bend this open. Just hook it on that. Birds are chirping this morning. It's beautiful out here. You know, if I could get my hand steady now. Where'd the hole go? There it is. That'll work if I can get her closed. That might be a little bit more hard. There we go. There we go. Well, I don't know if I had the camera on for drilling that hole out, but if you can see it, I drilled a hole right here. I took a little file to the back so it's not rough. Hopefully I have that on, probably not, but we're gonna open one of these back up, the second one here, and we'll use this as a hook. So we'll leave this one open. Probably like so-ish. I gotta be able to do it with the tailgate closed. We can adjust that, I suppose. Let me close this tailgate just to make sure what we're doing here. Oh, my file. Gotta open it to open it. Oh yeah, plenty of room to get her in there. Now we just need a little, like 3 or 4 links of chain right here. Well, this will probably be enough, just this little piece. So this is the same type of chain, it's just smaller. So you just got to bend them open and close them and hook them on there. With this pulled up, we'll do 4 links, I think. Get it out, that was the problem. Might need a little bit more slack. All right, we got her done. Got them adjusted properly. Not much play in that one. Same over here. Not much playing this one either. Enough to keep the door closed. I mean, none of this stuff is gonna save you, but oh, open this back up, it's warm. So none of this stuff is like super secure. There's probably not a ton you could do with that window to like make it super duper secure, but the reality of it is 90% of the time I'm in here, I've got these, you know, the windows are open on each side and those are just screens. So somebody could literally reach their hand in, unlock it and open it if they really wanted to. You know, unless all you had open was the front window. But the tailgate does lock, you know. It's just part of it, and people are outside sleeping in tents and stuff like that. I don't do a ton of stealth camping, so this has worked fine for me. It worked fine in that old truck for years, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. And then, of course, we've got our curtains all done up, and they work nicely. You can see I've got the bungees on those. I've got the side ones open here now just because you guys needed a little bit of extra light, but there you go. Full blackout curtains, and you guys know how bright it is outside. Like, it works well. Here, let me close this up and we'll completely close the curtains and show you guys how dark it is. Oh, I just had these shoved up here out of my way. Just little bungee cords. These were sent in a while back. Actually, I think I should maybe figure out my little bungee cord for the back here so that we can hold this against the back, but ooh, that went under the bed. So you can see how dark it gets in here. Even with that, like obviously that's hanging straight down. But if you had this up against the window, secured up against the window, it'd be super dark in here. And as I lay down, like, it's fine, you know? But it works well, y'all. Scurry. Open this back one back up. Yeah, super nice, man. Super easy to do. But I think on that note, I'm just gonna go ahead and close this one out. I'll probably rock this bed for a few more camp trips, just throw my little plastic junk back in here before we do a bed build. We'll get out and, you know, go on a couple more adventures before we do another working on this kind of video. And yeah, I hope I showed you guys that it's pretty simple to put up a decent set of curtains in here. You know, if you have access to a sewing machine and somebody that can show you how to use it, that's great. You know, you can pick up sewing machines very cheap, and you can teach yourself how to use one on YouTube if you really wanted to do that. Trucks driving by. But yeah, I made one mistake, and I'll show that to you guys. I sewed all these so that this top line would match, because the bottom line is smaller. It's a smaller fold over. And when I went and put this one on, I put it on upside down. So we've got the small line right there and the big line on the bottom, but it's fine. It actually took me a little while to even notice that I did that, but it is what it is. So yeah, give it a shot. It's definitely worth the effort. I feel like this is kind of the nicest way that you can put curtains in here without sticking a bunch of Velcro up, which will inevitably peel your headliner apart, because this one's got a soft spot right here. Like probably from, say maybe dude hung a light right there. So you could stick a syringe in there with some glue and maybe get that back up. But my old one had spots like that too. So that's why I don't like to Velcro a bunch of stuff to the ceiling in here. Just these things get hot and whatnot. But anyways, y'all, I'm rambling again. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you in a bit.